What is up, everyone? My name is Joseph Hadaway, and I'm here to help you get your money on track. If you're anything like me, you really enjoyed Yahoo Answers, and you're kind of sad that it's gone. The internet definitely had some unique questions, I think is what I'm going to say, and they were pretty fun to laugh at sometimes. Luckily, though, for people like me, and maybe even you too, Quora stepped in to fill that gap in our lives. So in today's video, I hopped on Quora and found some of their best personal finance questions, and I'm going to answer them here today in this video. Just real quick, for anyone who doesn't know me, if this is your first video on the channel, or if you don't follow me on, like, say, social media, I've been a financial coach for several years. I have a huge background in personal finance and feel pretty qualified to answer these questions. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, starting off with question 1 here, and excuse me if I'm not always looking at the webcam, I'm kind of going back and forth to my second screen here. Alright, so first up question we got here is, what is a good investment for 2022? I don't like this question. Never have, never will, and this is one of the big downfalls of Quora. I have no idea who this person is at all. So having no idea, it's basically impossible to recommend a good investment to them because I don't know their risk profile. I don't know their net worth. I don't know anything about them. I don't know their current debt situation. There's absolutely no way to tell. Scrolling down, like looking at this, I see this person here. They tried. They came up with some all right answers. It looks like tax saving fixed deposits. If you're like me and you live in the U.S., that's basically a CD. Again, it's going to give you a little better rate than a savings account, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're still getting. You know what? Let's look at current CD rates. June 2022, bank rate, always a great resource. All right, so here we are. For $25,000, you get 2.6% APY. Not great. At that point, I mean, you're barely, if at all, pacing inflation based on what it is on a normal year, and definitely not now compared to what we're at this year. I'm never going to hate on real estate investment, especially long-term rental real estate. Short and sweet. Good option for most people in most cases. Gold. If you like gold, that's great. Personally, I don't. Gold, even going back to the city, it's a great hedge against inflation, but I don't count on it for much more. It's not really going to make you rich. If I had to answer this question, I'm going to make it real simple. If I'm making a generic good investment that I'd recommend, S&P 500, rental real estate, or just invest in yourself. Let's move on to the next question. All right, moving on here to question 2. We got, do you think the S&P 500 is worth it? This one's easy. Yes. I'm kind of looking at, some of these answers on here. It looks like a lot of people really agree with me on this, but, I'm here to give my take. Basically, the S&P 500 is an extremely diversified index, and in my opinion, one of the best long-term investments that absolutely anyone can have as part of their portfolio. I know I've said this a few times before, large indexes like the S&P 500 aren't going down until the entire US economy crashes, and then I've got bigger problems than money, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, let's move on here to question 3. Can you put $1 million into the S&P 500 and live off the interest? This is an interesting question and one we can definitely do the math on. So I made up the spreadsheet here using the SPDR S&P 500 Trust ETF, or SPY, based on average returns and dividends. This is not an investment recommendation. It's just one of the most popular, if not the most popular, S&P 500 tracking ETF in the world, so I knew there'd be a lot of data available. So I want to answer the question at face value. I'm not going to talk about the 4% rule or any other kind of early retirement or regular retirement calculation, because we are solely looking at, can you live off the interest, which I'm equating to be investment returns plus dividends. So I got, a couple assumptions. Like I said, I'm using SPY in this, and I also used a 1% dividend yield. SPY historically averages 1 to 3, 1 to 2%, 1%, maybe a little conservative. I think it's about 1.4% at time of recording, but it's what I used. If you don't like it, make your own spreadsheet, start your own channel. So go ahead and look at the spreadsheet. At first glance, everything looks great. I mean, you look down here at the averages, you could be making 6 figures on investment returns or living off the interest. Add in dividends, $136,218.52 a year. That's a lot. That's significantly more than what the average American brings home, even the average American household. And that's great in a bull market, but then we get into the bear markets. And let's take, for example, right here, 2000, 2001, 2002. Of course, these are not cash flow losses. You don't owe someone $211,000, but if you were planning to live off the interest on the S&P 500 solely, your total cash flow that year would only be dividends because you're not selling. And if you can survive on $10,000 a year, this is totally possible. I mean, if you can survive, the answer is yes. Or if you have enough cash reserves to weather these bear market years, 2001, 2002, 2008, 2018, if you have cash saved up, yes, this is possible. You can live off the interest from a $1 million investment in the S&P 500. But if you don't have the cash saved up, your risk tolerance isn't high enough for this, or I mean, let's call it you just can't go 3 years without a paycheck, then the answer is no. This is a great idea in theory, and I really like the question here, but the issue comes in that stocks don't always go up. If you're going to enact a plan like this where you just live off the interest, which I know certain financial personalities like, including a very popular one out of Nashville, Tennessee, you got to be ready for the bear market. Stocks don't go up. Some years you're just not getting cash flow, and that's just how it works. All right, moving on to question 4. What is the best Telegram channel for crypto trading signals? I really don't want to answer this. And in a roundabout way, I'm not going to. But I know I get these people in my DMs who are trying to scam me with these, and I know a lot of people have fallen for these scams, and I really don't want you to fall for the same thing. Short and sweet, anyone promoting their, Telegram group or maybe private Discord saying they can send you trading signals and you can make X amount of return, X amount of money every single day, every single month, every single year is scamming you, or at least trying to. That means stocks and crypto and really any other asset class. The markets are too efficient for any trader to regularly make significant returns in the market without losing money at the same time. Don't believe me? Get on Google right now, look up how many active fund managers beat the S&P 500 every single year, and let me know what you find. All right, next up, which is the best way to learn about stocks? Well, of course, the best way to learn about stocks and investing is to subscribe to the channel. Shameless shill over, and seriously though, I really like what this person here answered back. There are a lot of different ways to learn about stocks and investing and personal finance. We live in a digital age, which means at all times we are entirely surrounded by information. Resources that are completely free and online that you can access right now include Investopedia, NerdWallet, The Motley Fool. That's just to name a few of the bigger ones that I personally like. Outside of digital resources, like they say right here, read a book. I would definitely recommend The Millionaire Barber and The Intelligent Investor. Both are great books that got me started on my investing journey and my personal finance journey, and I recommend it to every single person I sit down with. All right, next up we have on here, how do people get rich from stocks? Real simple, they buy them, they hold them, and they don't sell them. Buying and holding investing is honestly a life hack. It's, you keep buying every time you get paid, you DCA, dollar cost average into the market. If you're picking up a good quality index fund, again, like an S&P 500 or a total market, it's only a matter of time and you're going to make money and you're going to build wealth. I'm a big fan of the KISS strategy of investing. That is, keep it simple, stupid. I have a few index ETFs that I buy. I really hold 3, sometimes 4 in my portfolio, and I put more money into them every single time I get paid every single week. I know as long as I keep doing that, I'm going to become wealthy, and I know that anyone else out there can employ the exact same strategy and build wealth just like I am too. All right, next question we have up is, what is the best way to budget money? I like this question a lot. Budgeting, of course, is the first step to getting your money and your finances on track. I also really I was reading through what this person, James, wrote, a fellow financial coach, went through a really good description of budgeting. I'm gonna keep this pretty simple here. If you check my blog, I'll link it down in the description. I wrote one of my more favorite posts I've written on the 50-30-20 budget and how you can use it to start managing your money, and then honestly a great starter budget if you aren't already, or even just a good one to put yourself on. Outside of that, on my Gumroad store, I also have my personal budgeting template that I use to manage my own money and my own personal finances. You can download for that for completely free. I'll link that in the description too. Another short answer here, just to get into the rest of it. If you don't want to manage your own money using a spreadsheet like Excel and other options, a budgeting app, there are hundreds, if not thousands of them out there. A few months back on Work Hard, Retire Early, I wrote a post about my favorite personal budgeting apps of 2022, and I'll link that down in the description below too. Whatever works for you, I promise you there's a solution out there to meet your needs. Moving on to question number 8. What are some good stocks to invest in right now? Don't ask this. Never ask this. Let's see what these people had to say down here. Good summary of stocks. I don't like how he recommended individual companies, but I gotta say, a good overall summary where everyone falls in the line, and he's giving a good idea of risk return, so you're not really recommending anything, kind of just giving ideas. I like that a lot. What this person said too goes into what I said earlier, without knowing your financial situation, expected returns, holding period, etc., it's really hard to say what you should and should not be investing in. While I'm here, let's just go ahead and lay some basic ground rules for investing and building wealth. Number 1, do not buy a stock because someone on the internet told you to. Number 2, make sure you do your own due diligence and research before you make any investment decisions. And just for the record, asking this is not due diligence and it's not research. And then number 3, if you don't want to take the time to do research, or you don't want to take the time to manage a portfolio of individual stocks, especially if you plan to try and trade them at all or buy and sell, then don't. Buy an index fund. I don't like managing my own stock portfolio, so I don't. I buy index funds and it works, and it's generating me 8 to 12% return on average per year, and I highly recommend it. All right, last question we're going to answer here on this video today. what are the positive outcomes of managing personal finances? Well, to say the least, there are a lot of positive outcomes. If there weren't, then I'd be out of a job. Just to list off a few that I've noticed in my life, and I'm sure other people who've begun managing their finances have as well. Number 1, stability. Number 2, you're building wealth. Number 3, you're going to retire on time or early, because that's all it is. Nobody really wants to work forever. Number 4, more freedom and flexibility. I mean, it's a lot easier, especially at work. If you have a job you hate, it's a lot easier to get up and go every day, or even just walk out or go a period of unemployment if you have cash saved up. And number 5, just overall reduce stress. Money stress is one of the worst stressors out there, and let's get away from it. It's what we do, and managing personal finances properly, can't guarantee you'll get away from that entirely, but it definitely helps. To say the least, no matter what your goals in life are, I guess unless your goal is just to be poor and broke forever, managing your money is going to help you get there even faster, and it's make you feel better while you do it. Alright, and those are the best personal finance questions I was able to find on Quora to answer. Do you have any personal finance or investing questions that you would like answered? Let me know down in the comments below, and I might make a follow-up video. Also, while you're here, if you enjoy this type of content, you enjoy learning more about personal finance and managing your money, go ahead and drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot if you do. So overall, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all again next Friday.